Welcome back, Astro listeners, to Star Lady Soul Reader Network. This is your host, Media Monk, and as usual, we have our shining star of the zodiac. It's Star Lady. Hi, Star Lady.
Hello, Media Monk.
And we all know Star Lady continues to be the managing director for the Evolutionary Astrology Network. We call her Kim Marie. And she studied this EA paradigm for going on 35 to 40 years now. We've used to run Jeffrey Wolf Green's school for 6 years. We continue to move new students and new astrologers through our EA course to become certified. And you can go to www.evolutionaryastrology.net for more information about the course or to ask any questions about other materials available on our website. Always call 605-348-5111. And gosh, here we got a new moon in Taurus. This is somewhat of an anniversary for you, is it not, Star Lady?
Excuse me. That's right, Media Monk. You were talking about Jupiter, so I'll get back to the new moon in just a moment. But Media Monk and I are going to shift things here. We are going to change our webinar forecasting format, and we're going to move over to the Zoom format. And the first webinar we're going to do together is going to be on May 20th. We're going to do a Jupiter in Gemini forecast. Jupiter will go into Gemini on May 25th for the next year, and I don't know how soon. Let's see how fast I can look this up. May 25th through June 9th of 2025. And the reason Media Monk said it was an anniversary for us is because my very first webinar was back in 2013 with Jupiter's ingress into Cancer. So with this Jupiter and Gemini webinar, I will have done a whole 12-year series of webinars with the Jupiter ingresses. And
wow.
we were in memory lane a little bit, thinking back to doing webinars in 2013 and flying by the seat of our pants and going, what are we doing? And
wow, yeah.
Yeah. So here we are. Well, it's, 11 years time-wise, but it will be 12 Jupiter ingress webinars, and we're going to shift to the Zoom format. So stay tuned to the email newsletter because it will give you the link to register for the webinar and the information. Again, it'll be Monday, May 20th from 6 to 8 p.m., our Jupiter in Gemini ingress webinar.
Yeah, we're going to have to work on our nomenclature and everything because it won't, certainly the webinar format was very good to us. We broke in. We're early adopters of that webinar format. It provided us a lot of content. We're going to miss our go-to webinar friends, but Zoom seems to be the place to be for us, and these are going to be pay-it-forward webinars now. So at the outset here, we're going to just pay it forward like we do on our Mercury Retrograde calls and call these Zoom calls now and get the link on our Astro newsletter. So you're going to want to tell your colleagues, family, and friends to get on that Astro newsletter list to get information about these free Zoom calls coming up and free forecasting calls from EAN.
All right. And here we are, that new moon of Taurus, which will be in the evening of May 7th. That new moon is going to be at 18 degrees Taurus, and we are recording this the day before, right as the moon is in the tail end of Aries, making that waxing square to Pluto freshly retrograde at 2 degrees Aquarius. And we're recording this on Monday. The new moon is Tuesday. And we got up and had a Monday morning that just didn't stop. We're feeling the Aries spiciness here on our end. We're feeling the Taurian spring, including oh gosh, I hope everybody is safe here across the United States with all of this spring weather. We had a downpour come that was just no hail, thank you very much, but for about 15 minutes there, it was just horrendous. I haven't even looked at the rain gauge to see how much rain we had, but, not a couple of repairmen at the house. So we're experiencing that Aries Taurus energy right with all of you out there. Perhaps, though, what I think many of us are still quite strongly in the midst of is the fact that Pluto went stationary retrograde again May 2nd, just a few days ago, at 2 degrees Aquarius. It is its second time to go retrograde in Aquarius and go all the way back into Capricorn one more time. Pluto has a 5-month retrograde cycle. It goes direct October 11th, 2938 Capricorn. And Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, it's stirring up the feistiness. You can look at world events. You can look at, college protests. You can look at everything in your personal world. Pluto stationary retrograde is almost like shock and awe. Really asking you to step back and look at things. I have created 4 words for Aquarius, and they're very relevant for Pluto transiting through Aquarius. I think I mentioned them last podcast. I'm going to say them one more time. These Pluto and Aquarius, and very active with its retrograde here, words are detach, objectify, liberate, and innovate. Meaning whatever is going on in our world to wake us up or surprise us or traumatize, re-traumatize us, it is to move us into stepping back. That's the detachment. And then to look at it from that broader picture, just as objectively as we can, and where are we being asked to change? And it's pretty magnified right now with Pluto stationary retrograde. The rule of thumb is when the 3 outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, go stationary retrograde or direct, they become more conscious. The 3 outer planets are known to deal a lot with our unconsciousness. And when they change direction again, it's like we can grasp them better. It's like they're closer to the conscious mind going, oh, this is what this planet's about. And so Pluto retrograde is about throwing off old desires always. It's about throwing off the past. It's about shaking us up so that we can learn how to evolve and do something differently than we have before. And of course, if Pluto retrograde is having us throw off old desires, how are we going to fill the space up with a new desire nature? Are we going to repeat the past, or are we going to do things differently? And this is where, as we spoke also last week, the day we're recording this podcast, Monday, May 6th, Saturn is making the first waxing semi-square 45 degrees to Pluto. It will do 3 of them with the retrograde. Saturn hanging out about 17 degrees Pisces with Pluto retrograde at 2 Aquarius. And so there's this combustion almost with Saturn, even in Pisces, because Saturn in Pisces is dissolving Pisces, whatever doesn't fit in our reality anymore. And so we can really be, intensely experiencing letting go of the past, and how are we going to fill that space moving forward? And Saturn, how are we going to fill up that space with the reality of newly emerging desires coming through? So these are the two strong base notes that are going on right now. Pluto stationary retrograde, and we'll be feeling this for a few more months, a few more weeks. We'll be feeling it for 5 months. And then Saturn waxing semi-square, half a square to Pluto, going from yang to yin phase, energy moving inward, but really asking us to gel things moving forward. What are the seed thoughts? What are the initiations coming through with Saturn, Pluto? So this is the new moon energy at 18 degrees Taurus. And what we have to watch out for is Mars has went into Aries. It's hanging out, about 5, 6, 7 degrees. It's going to meet the North Node here right around May 19th, May 20th. And then we also have Chiron and Mercury still in Aries. So we've got the feistiness energy. But on the new moon, we're going to have 5 planets in Taurus. So we've got that back and forth between Aries and Taurus, the feistiness, the excitement, the surprises, I just want to be free. I want to do what I want to do. And then we have all that Taurian energy that says, wait a minute. I need to feel safe. I need to feel secure. I just want to slow down and relax. I'm exhausted, Aries. And so back and forth and back and forth, this faster moving energy is going along with the base notes I just described with Saturn and Pluto. So it's okay on this new moon of Taurus if you want to kind of ground yourself. And of course, when we're dealing with Taurus, I'm going to repeat my mantra for Taurus. I create self-reliance with every metamorphosis. In other words, I deepen my center of gravity with every upset. We have had 2 months of Mercury in Aries, March 9th through May 15th, with a Mercury retrograde cycle, throwing communications all over the place, our mind learning to think differently through Aries. And so, as Mercury's finishing up this long cycle through Aries the last 2 months, what is new for you? How are you processing differently? How are you thinking differently? How are you adding new things in differently? Oops, sorry, I thought I had all the business lines out of my office. Forgot one. So, sorry about that. And there's another phone in here that I thought I buried well enough. It'll stop ringing in just a little bit here. There's Mercury in Aries. Anyway, you get this point. Now, it is all that excitement of Aries and the need to take a breath, slow down, and reevaluate, prioritize what's important for us with the Taurus energy. Now, after this new moon in Taurus, on May 13th, we'll have Sun conjunct Uranus, 23 degrees Taurus. And then soon after that, we're going to have Venus conjunct Uranus, May 18th at 23.5 degrees Taurus. So we'll have those 2 inner planets, Venus, ruler of Taurus, move over Uranus and really help us focus and sharpen what is important to us, what is of value to us, and therefore, where are we going to put those Mars and Aries initiations to create, to act? upon what it is that we want to create in our life, especially as Pluto throws off old desires, no longer of value to us anymore, and we are asked to fill space up in new directions and new ways. So May 13th, May 18th, May 19th. Yeah, I had it. May 13th and May 18th, Sun and then Venus over Uranus, bringing surprises, bringing upsets, bringing the initiations and new ideas and insights. Oh, this is what's important, and this is how I want to do things differently. Now, on the heels of that, all right, May 18th, that's why I got the dates mixed up, and May 23rd, Sun and Venus conjunct Jupiter. We got a 1-2 punch here going on. May 18th, Sun over Jupiter, 28 degrees Taurus. May 23rd, Venus over Jupiter, 29.5 degrees Taurus. So Uranus can bring the surprises and the great insights. Jupiter, growth and expansion, can bring some aha moments on how we want to really move forward with things. So Sun over Jupiter, May 18th. Venus over Jupiter, May 23rd. What do I value about myself? How am I deepening that inner relationship with myself? Especially as my soul, Pluto retrograde, is making all kinds of new recognitions about what is important in my world. So Venus is going to be able to relate to Jupiter as it finishes up the tail end of Taurus, and we're really getting in touch again with what's of value, what's of meaning, and how we are going to go forward in our life. You can almost utilize this whole month of May. You know, it kind of is the Taurus month. You can utilize this month of May and go, how do I prioritize my values? How do I really ponder what's important to me? And then that Aries energy comes along, especially with Mars in Aries for a bit. Mars is in Aries April 30th through June 8th. So the whole month of May, Mars in Aries. Then Mars follows up with all the Taurian values. Mars follows up with the initiations of action. Create our world. Create what we want. So yes, it's okay to give yourself those time periods to slow down in the midst of all the busy energy, the Aries, Taurus back and forth. And then we will have the Sun move into Gemini May 20th. And we'll have Venus move into Gemini on that full moon of Gemini, May 23rd. And so that Sun into Gemini, the mantra is, I gather information with intuitive searching. I gather information, Gemini, with intuitive searching, Sagittarius. So, utilize the Taurian energy as best as you can. Be at peace with yourself and others, because Taurus is always sandwiched in between Aries and Gemini, and they want to do, and go, and stir the pot up. So, okay, one more time. Have a little bit of slowing down and inner peace with the Taurian energy, of the inner planets, because that nodal axis is about halfway through its transit. North node in Aries, south node in Libra. South node in Libra, how am I reevaluating all my relationships and balancing everything with everybody that's in my life? And north node in Aries, how do I be free? And what are the limits to my freedom? Because Aries and north node in Aries, we're always going to run into the limits of freedom. That is the Aries action, reaction. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And we're going to be balancing that as well, emotionally, in the midst of all this busy spring energy. All right, stay tuned. Jupiter and Gemini coming up. Our first Zoom webinar on Monday, May 20th. Media Monk, anything?
All right. Yeah, join us then. We're having our initiation phase here at EAN, and we're excited to bring you some free forecasting information on that first Jupiter ingress into Gemini. Of course, it'll be a big cycle of accomplishment for Star Lady and Media Monk. So we're going to celebrate with you May 20th at 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So until then, move with joy and lots of passion on this consolidating journey to the core of our souls. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.